Hey folks, happy hump day. Yes, Wednesday upon us. Welcome to the Fox 5 Live Zone. I'm your host, Guy Lambert. Thank you so much for joining us. Coming up on the show today, did you hear? The DCAG now crying foul. It all surrounds a construction company. He says, well, what array. We're talking about all things surrounding the FIFA World Cup draw. Did you hear about that? It's the biggest story right here in the nation's capital. It's going to happen this week, and guess what? It's all happening right here on Fox 5. And then when it comes to shopping, let's see, you could buy this, you could buy that, but perhaps you should implement the onion theory. We'll break it down for you right here on the Live Zone. But first, how about we talk weather, shall we? Tucker Barnes now joining us. Hello, sir.
Yes, happy middle of the week.
Yes, it's what, Wednesday?
Yeah, I said middle of the week because I wasn't sure what day of the week it was either.
Okay.
Yeah, so
kind of all flies by.
It's all good.
Yeah, real good.
Yeah, all good.
How you doing today?
We done?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
You probably want weather from me, right?
Just a little.
Okay, sunshine has returned, and it's a beautiful day. It is a cool day. It was a cold morning. Overnight lows are back generally in the 20s and low 30s, and the cold pattern continues here, so we'll start there with daytime highs this afternoon in the mid-40s. We're 39 degrees with the winds out of the north here at 14, so it feels like the wind chill at 31.
Gosh, yeah, it was
put your
freezing
jacket
out
on.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, put your jacket on. And, you know, it's nice. It feels like the holidays. When you see the Christmas lights and the holiday lights and, you know, you're driving down the road. And it's nice when it's not 85 degrees, right?
I'm just missing snow.
Well, maybe we can talk about that.
Okay.
Nice afternoon for us this afternoon. We'll be, again, on the cool side. But you're in good shape. No rain and or snow today or tonight or tomorrow, for that matter. We'll keep it both Wednesday and Thursday dry. Friday gets a little more interesting, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. If you look all the way out towards Denver, you see a little puff of white. A little bit of snow out there. We're going to have a cold front come through here Thursday night. That'll come through dry. You won't notice. I will, but you won't. But what it'll do is reinforce cold air. So we've got a lot of cold air in place on Friday morning. We're going to have a weak area of low pressure pass to our south on Friday morning. And some of the modeling, and I'm showing you one of our more bullish models as far as snow chances, but it's one of our better models, the European. I've always been in European models. I know you have too, Guy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely love it.
Yeah, I know you have. It is suggesting that perhaps the precipitation shield will get far enough north on Friday. We get some snow around here for the daytime hours. That's 9:30. That's 12 noon with snow across the area. I can't guarantee this is the final solution because some of the modeling keeps the snow just a little south of us.
Yeah.
But if this were to verify, it would be cold enough. You can see for yourself that we are looking at a snow day on Friday. A light snow day. Let me really emphasize light. So what would the upside potential be? This would be the upside potential, maybe 2 inches.
Oh, wow.
So it would be cold enough. It would probably stick, and you know, in some cases, in many cases locally, it would be our first snowflakes of the season and our first accumulating snow. That's the European model's output, trying to give the region between about 1 and maybe, if you're far enough to the south, 2 inches of snow. Again, not a major snow, but with temperatures only in the 30s, that is a time frame we really want to watch. That again would be Friday. Let's call it 10, 11 o'clock in the morning through about 6 at night. All right. Otherwise, weekend looks good. A couple snow showers next week.
Fingers crossed. I want snow.
I mean, listen, I'm sure there wouldn't be too many people that would complain about a 3-day weekend if that happened.
Unfortunately, you and I have to still come to work.
Oh, no, I was talking about myself. I'm not.
Tucker Barnes, all things weather right here on the Live Zone. Guys, if you haven't already done so, make sure you download the Fox Local app. You can take that forecast with you on the go. All right, so Tucker Barnes, somewhat of a Grinch, but, well, he can't live up to this guy. We're talking about the real Grinch now, joining us right here on the Live Zone. Hello, my
How's
friend.
it going? You look so tall.
Oh, like, yeah, so, okay, see,
it.
that's what the Grinch does. He calls me out. You see that? I have a little stool
Gotta
that I
keep
stand
him
on, and
honest.
so... what's up, Grinch? How are you, sir?
I am great. How are you?
I'm doing just fine.
Yeah, welcome to the holiday season.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's children everywhere. Have you ever met one? The worst.
I kind of like this guy a little bit. I do love kids, by the way.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, well, I guess I can't say
nobody's
that.
perfect. I'm sorry.
You have been quite the busy guy.
I am everywhere. Yes, I am all over the place. I'm like glitter. You're never going to get rid of me. I'm going to be at Leesburg Animal Park throughout December.
Uh-huh.
Yes, they put me in one of the enclosures, and I harass you as you walk by. It's the most fun. You're going to love it. Yeah.
So the best part about it is, oh, look at that. When you're here, it gets dark.
You could pay the power bill.
I know. I think it's this person that's standing over there by the name of Saida.
Uh-oh.
Cut off all my, you see what happens?
Boy, they'll hire anyone here, won't they?
They sure will. Saida, you might as well come on in the shot, Saida. Come on, let's
in.
all have fun. So say hi to Saida.
Hi, Saida. You're very colorful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's Wednesday. We wear pink on Wednesday.
We do. I'm wearing pink right now. Can you tell?
I absolutely love this. You are giving back in a major way. You made mention of Leesburg Animal Hospital, Park
Animal Park, yes.
all about really focusing on those that, well, really need a better life. And in this case, we're talking about the kids that get a chance to see the animals, and then they get a chance to see you.
Yes, and that's really what matters, is seeing me, because I am gorgeous, I am famous, and I'm amazing. So you're welcome.
One day when I grow up, I want to be just like this guy. What about you, Saida?
Same here.
Yeah.
I love the lashes.
All right. We're moving green to Wednesdays. Sorry about
Oh,
it.
gosh. Okay. Enough. Before I turn into a Grinch, you can make sure to check him out at Leesburg Animal Park, Highway 15. For more information, you can log on to their website. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Bye, Grinch.
Bye.
We need some more
Great
color in this
seeing
area.
ya.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right. How cool is that? Now the latest in the district. Christian Siding, a construction company that has worked on projects across D.C., has reached a settlement with construction workers in a class action suit. The company will now pay more than $364,000 to 229 construction workers and $360,000 in penalties to D.C. This comes after the company was accused of failing to pay wages to workers on 3 publicly funded affordable housing projects. I should also make mention we'll have more on this and so much more right here on the Live Zone throughout the day. Switching gears to politics, Russian President Vladimir Putin accepted some U.S. proposals to end the war. That, according to the Kremlin. The U.S. side has yet to publicly comment on the talks, but had expressed optimism on reaching a deal before the meeting. Meanwhile, President Trump reiterating that the U.S. will launch strikes on Venezuela soon, though that's unlikely to happen this week. Joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Mr. Armin Kurdigan, U.S. Navy captain, retired, and political strategist, back here on the Live Zone. Good to see you, Armin. No Grinch here.
Hey, good to see you, Guy.
Let's jump right into this. We'll begin with what's taking place overseas. You heard me make mention of what's happening with regard to the war. It looks like perhaps finally, soon, it will come to an end. We know the Ukrainian president has received an invitation from the President Trump, to visit right here in the U.S. sometime in the near future to really negotiate on the peace process. The invitation comes after lengthy talks between Russian President Vladimir Putin and U.S. officials. So, you heard me state it, Armin. Finally, are we going to see this come to an end?
I really don't think so. Frankly, I think the message, if I was Ukraine, to bring to the president says, look, we could agree to this thing right now. I could sign this paper, which is not really fair to my country, and Russia could sign it tomorrow, and they'll just wait for you to be out of office or someone else to come in to office who isn't going to stand up or protect us, and then come in and take basically the rest of the country. And we've seen this continue to go on, and that Putin is going to continue to push. And frankly, I think his long-term objectives might be better suited if he does do that strategy instead of showing his intransigence in wanting to keep this war going on. So I'm not really very hopeful. Europe has to man up and really support Ukraine if they want Ukraine to push back and they really want to bring this war to an end, a substantive end, and not one that's simply temporary like we saw back in 2015.
Yeah, well, from a humanitarian standpoint, we know that lives are being lost on a daily basis. I think we can all agree that we'd like the war to come to an end, at least from that aspect. Let's move on to
Yes,
lawmakers right here back in the nation's capital. Will receive a classified briefing on the Trump administration's strikes on Venezuela boats. According to The Hill, Navy Admiral Frank Mitch Bradley will provide information on the controversial strikes during a briefing with senior members of the Senate and House Armed Services Committee scheduled for tomorrow. Bradley was authorized by Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to order a follow-up strike back on September 2nd against survivors on a targeted boat, and he was head of the Joint Special Operations Command at the time of that strike. The Washington Post reported that Bradley directed a second strike to comply with Hegseth's order that no one be left alive. Your thoughts on all of this?
First of all, to be clear, a lot of the discussion that these are illegal attacks, this is a violation of international law of armed conflict, completely leave out a very inconvenient fact, the fact that these narco-terrorists were not wearing uniforms. And if you don't wear a uniform and you're engaged in this kind of activity, you're not subject to the protections of the Geneva Convention in that sense. Now, I've always said from the beginning is I would love to see some of these guys actually captured, even though they'll probably throw their evidence overboard. But I'd like to see them captured to try to be pulled in for evidence. So there's a lot to go on here with regards to strikes in Venezuela. I'm not a fan of that at this time. I don't know that will actually serve the interest of the United States. It might actually be counterproductive. Kinetic strikes within the continental South American continent might not go over well with some of our allies that we have in the rest of the region.
Yeah, a lot of tension, like you said, yet again in that region, something we'll have to keep a very close eye on. Speaking of keeping a close eye on things, we know that the Trump administration now looking to withhold SNAP benefits from most Democratic-led states. Several blue states have refused to give the feds data that includes the names and immigration status of food stamp recipients. The Agriculture Secretary, said that 29 Republican-led states have complied, but 21 have refused access. What's going to happen with all of this, Armin?
SNAP benefits need to go to the families who deserve it, American families who are out there. Those who are, if they're here under a particular legal status, then that should be okay as well. But if they're not here legally and they're getting SNAP benefits from the state because they're just sort of passing them out, that's not right. And this is a continued effort for the Democrats to continue to fight the Trump administration on immigration. And it's truly, truly unfortunate because, frankly, a lot of that money, should go to American families. So these Democrat states really have only themselves to blame. They're the ones who want to shut the government down because they want to continue the subsidies to illegal immigrant families. And again, I would love to see more people come to this country. I'd love to see more people come in legally and really overhaul the process. But this is not the way to do it by throwing money under the table to people who don't have a right to be here.
Yeah, well, one thing we also know is many of us do not want, yet again, another government shutdown, something we will have to wait and see if exactly that will happen. Mr. Armin Kurdigan, U.S. Navy captain retired and political strategist, joining us right here on the Live Zone. Always good to see you, my friend. Make it a great day.
You too, sir. Have a great day.
Well, Senator Bernie Moreno's Exclusive Citizenship Act of 2025 has ignited an immediate political firestorm. The bill would force all Americans with dual citizenship to renounce their foreign nationality or lose their U.S. citizenship within a year. Joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Young Voices spokesperson Victoria Churchill, back on the Live Zone. Always good to see you, Victoria. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Guy. Always great to be back with you.
Yeah, a lot of folks are talking about this, Victoria, and I'm curious, the nationalist appeal behind Moreno's proposal and why many conservatives are now rejecting it.
Well, of course, there's been discussion about limits to immigration throughout the course of the Trump administration. Just in the past 24 hours, we've seen the administration announce that they are going to limit immigration from a number of countries. I believe the total number was 19. So, there's definitely been support for limiting immigration. But I think this proposal by Moreno, it actually rejects a lot of the realities of kind of living in today's globalized world and society that so many Americans live in. In particular, the proposal, of course, rejects, I think, the idea that, for example, somebody may need to maintain a citizenship abroad to, for example, take care of legal, financial, or medical matters with a family member that's living it, or, even the idea that if somebody holds citizenship from a country that is adversarial to the U.S., they actually can't, many times, give up that citizenship without going back to their home country after they've already become U.S. citizens. And then doing that, it enables them to potentially be jailed, fined, or worse, really, if they do go back to some of those countries, because, a lot of the times people leave for the values that are espoused here in the U.S., freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom from political persecution. And if people go back to their home countries, they could face all of that. And then if somebody was forced to do that, basically under Moreno's proposal, people would have to give up their second citizenship within a year. And so really this would put U.S. citizens in harm's way if they had to go back to some of those countries.
Yeah, Victoria, you touched on this, and this happens to surround the oath of allegiance. And somebody would argue that it already covers loyalty concerns without stripping citizens of their rights.
Yeah, it absolutely does. So when a naturalized citizen takes the oath of allegiance, they swear to, of course, pledge their allegiance to the United States. That means also serving in the military, if asked, for example. So, that oath is covered, and also challenges to potentially getting rid of dual citizenship. That's actually something that the Supreme Court looked at in the 50s. And so, I don't think this proposal by Marino is likely to pass at all, but if it were, it would probably face constitutional challenges as well, all the way up potentially to the Supreme Court.
All right, so with regard to the actual things that families focus on, in this case, I'm talking about the medical aspect, perhaps legal obligations abroad. Yet again, so many would argue that this bill overlooks that. Would you agree?
Yeah, again, I absolutely would, which is why I decided to speak out about this. I'm going to have a video coming up out on the Daily Mail in the next day or so, hopefully, as part of our Daily Mail Voices kind of a video column feature where I go into more detail about this. But again, I think this is pretty short-sighted, and, Marino's got an interesting perspective. He himself is from Colombia. He denounced his Colombian citizenship at 18 just to exclusively be a U.S. citizen. But, I think we can have other discussions around this. For example, saying if, dual citizens should serve in Congress. That's a proposal to eliminate that has been introduced by Thomas Massey. I think that's potentially a valid proposal, but extrapolating that to the entire general populace, I think, is really just a play for a certain demographic of voters that isn't representative of not only most Americans, but also most Republican or conservative voters. And, even looking at President Trump's own family, of course, his wife Melania is from Slovenia. I believe his son Barron has Slovenian citizenship through his mother. So, it's definitely an interesting play that Marino is making there without really having regard for exactly what kinds of people it would affect.
Well said. Yet again, Young Voices spokesperson Victoria Churchill joining us right here on the Live Zone. Always good to see you, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we'll take our first break. We'll be right back. All right, folks, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone, taking you to Massachusetts, where the murder trial of Brian Walsh continues. He's the father accused of killing and dismembering his wife. Well, continued testimony took place earlier today with a state trooper who told jurors about chilling internet searches made in the hours after Anna Walsh died. Let's take a live look in.
Correct, yes.
And that was $5,000 a month?
Yes.
Okay. You had mentioned that you had done a couple repairs to the property as a landlord?
Yes.
Okay. And one of the things that you mentioned is there was a leaky faucet.
Yes.
And something like a leaky faucet, is that something that the Walshes would be financially responsible to fix?
No.
Because that's just normal wear and tear of the home.
Yes.
And I think the second thing you said was there a hinge on a hutch that was loose?
Yes.
And that was something that you could just go over with a screwdriver?
I had to replace the hinge.
Okay. And is that something that was normal wear and tear, or did the Walshes damage that and they would have to pay for it?
Probably wear and tear, but it could have opened too far and broke the hinge. Not sure.
Okay.
Yep.
In the lease, or your understanding, would there be some damage that the Walshes could have done to the home that they would have to be financially responsible for?
Yes.
So, for example, if a large hole in the ceiling happened during their tenancy, you wouldn't run over there and get up on a ladder and drywall the ceiling and fix a hole yourself.
No, I wouldn't.
And that would be something that isn't regular wear and tear, right?
I would say that's not regular wear and tear. No.
Okay. So that would be something that the Walshes would be responsible for paying for and covering.
Sure. If they actually did it, if it wasn't something that the house had control over, yes.
Okay. And you had mentioned that other than the rent check, that you would see Mr. Walsh, when you say 5 or 6 times, do you mean 5 or 6 times a month, or do you mean 5 or 6 times over the course of the lease?
Over the course of the lease, yep.
And would you ever see him with any of his 3 little boys?
No, not outside the house, no.
Okay. And you said you saw Anna Walsh on a couple of occasions?
Yes.
And that was with Mr. Walsh or by herself and the boys?
By herself.
Okay. Nothing further, Your Honor.
With the boys, I'm sorry. By herself
Okay.
with the boys.
By
yeah.
herself with the boys. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor. Nothing further.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
The witness may step down. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yet again, you have been listening to testimony in the Brian Walsh trial. He is the man accused of killing and dismembering his wife, Anna Walsh. She worked right here in the nation's capital. We'll continue to monitor this trial throughout the afternoon right here on the Live Zone. Switching gears to overseas, new evidence reveals a coordinated nationwide surge in executions by Iran's regime, with more than 1,400 killings taking place in 2025 and at least 8 political prisoners now facing immediate execution. What effect, if any, will this have on U.S.-Iran relations, or in this case, the lack thereof? Joining us to discuss this and so much more is Dr. Ali Savivi. He is the member of the Foreign Affairs Committee of the National Council of Resistance of Iran and kind enough to join us. Sir, good to see you and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be on your show.
So let's jump right into it. It's no secret that Iran's regime has really intensified its use of the death penalty to an unprecedented level, combining, let's say, mass executions across the country with dramatic acceleration in death sentences for political prisoners. Why?
Well, if you look at it, there are basically 3 underlying reasons. One, recall that after the Shah regime was overthrown, the clerical regime came to power, which was basically a historical regime, a very reactionary regime, and it could not and did not mobilize the energies, the tremendous energy released after the fall of the Shah. And so in order to preserve its rule, to consolidate its rule, and to continue this regime, it rested on 3 major pillars: export of terrorism to the neighboring countries, the pursuit of nuclear weapons program, and of course, continued crackdown. But of course, now 47 years later, we see that 1, because of the nationwide protests that have engulfed the country, 5 since 2017, with the big one being in September 2022, and the continuing protests in Iran. Secondly, the defeats the regime has suffered in the region, including the dismantling of the Hezbollah, the fall of Bashar al-Assad, and of course the problems that the Houthis are facing, and also Shiite militias in Iraq. And third, its nuclear weapons program, first of all being exposed by the NCRI in the course of 133 revelations, but of course the military blows that it also received during the 12-day war. There's only one pillar, one leverage, if you will, is left for the regime, and that is, of course, to resort to executions to keep its control and to keep an increasingly enraged populace at bay. Recall that the Iranian currency is in free fall. It has lost 20% of its value since June. Inflation, according to government figures, is above 50%. Unemployment the same. Iran is suffering from tremendous lack of water, electricity, environment is a disaster. And so for the mullahs to keep themselves in power, they only have one recourse, a step of executions. And you mentioned in the beginning of the program the number of executions, was actually it is 1,791 just in 2025, which is like a 70% increase relative to the previous year in 2024.
Yeah, so in essence, in the month of November, we now know that it has now been deemed the deadliest month of executions since the year of 1988. But wait, there's more. Many are now arguing that these executions are really being used as a tool for political terror. Would you agree?
Absolutely. In fact, the month of November, since you mentioned, there have been 336 executions. That's 11 a day, which is incredible. There have been 2 public hangings. There have been 9 women executed. And of course, there are now, as we speak, 17 political prisoners, all of them charged with cooperating with the main Iranian opposition, the Mujahideen Khalq MEK, are on death row. And there has been, of course, a nationwide campaign trying to save their lives, including a 67-year-old woman who's an engineer, actually studied in Sweden, who is on death row as well because she was basically wearing a shawl which said the woman resistance freedom, which, of course, the mullahs did not like. So clearly, for this regime, executions are a political tool to keep, as I said, an increasingly enraged society in check. And naturally, that is why we have called, the NCRI has called, and Mrs. Rajabi has called on the international community to basically predicate all forms of relations with the regime, commercial, diplomatic, and otherwise, on a halt in executions, and also dispatch of international fact-finding mission to Iran to visit Iranian prisons and specifically speak to political prisoners.
Dr. Savivi, to put it bluntly, and obviously no one wants to really focus on the loss of life from a humanitarian standpoint, but why should the everyday American be concerned about this? How does this affect America, if at all?
Well, for 2 reasons. One, of course, America, basically the values of freedom, freedom of assembly, human rights, freedom of expression are enshrined in the Constitution of the United States. Secondly, as long as this regime is in power in Iran, it will sow the seeds of discord and mayhem in the region. And of course, despite the blows that it has received concerning its nuclear weapons program, it is hell-bent on obtaining the bomb. So you can imagine that a fundamentalist extremist regime obtaining the world's most dangerous weapon, what would that entail not only for the region, but also for the rest of the international community? Recall that now the Iranian regime's ballistic missiles can reach southern Europe. And of course, as Europe is threatened, by extension, so would be the United States. And recall that the Iranian regime has been responsible for the death of at least 700 American service members in Iraq when the United States was in that country. So in this respect, both from a national security standpoint, but also from a humanitarian standpoint, I think it is in the interest of everybody, including the people of America, that you see a secular, democratic, non-nuclear republic in power in Iran, which is, of course, willing to live at peace with the rest of its neighbors and play a constructive role in rebuilding this turbulent region in the world, the Middle East, which has seen years and years of wars and bloodshed and instability.
It is quite fascinating in the worst way. Yet again, we have been speaking with Dr. Ali Savivi. He is a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee of the National Council of Resistance of Iran. Sir, we truly appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
You're welcome. All right, folks, we'll take a quick break. Hey, on the flip side of the break, it's the story that everyone is talking about. Sean Diddy Combs, the docuseries. His camp crying foul, perhaps a lawsuit afoot. We'll discuss that next, right here on the Live Zone. All right, folks, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Well, it happened to be the highly anticipated docuseries about Sean Diddy Combs, produced by his longtime foe, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. Yes, it has now been released on Netflix. I'm referring to Sean Combs, The Reckoning. One thing that the 50 Cent camp needs to think about is reckoning as to whether or not they will be sued and or face a lawsuit. But wait, there's more. Could the blame be placed on Netflix? Joining us to discuss this and so much more is Marlo Greer from the Greer Law Group, accomplished attorney, right here on the Live Zone. Ms. Greer, always good to see you. Welcome back to the show.
Always good to see you.
All right, so
again.
The floor is yours.
Sorry about that. It's just, here we are again. Nobody is surprised, right? No one is surprised that this came out, and nobody is surprised that Diddy is crying foul. And we have to remember, right, that he cried foul at the very beginning of this. You know, when Cassie came forward, he said she was making everything up. This wasn't accurate. And then lo and behold, the video comes out of him beating her in an elevator. And then he has to change his mind and say, oh, oops, well, what am I going to say now? And that's exactly, I think, what we're seeing happen here. So, Guy, what do you want to know?
Yeah, well, so as you know, there's this thing called hearsay, and in the court of law, that doesn't necessarily stand up. But what I have heard is perhaps that some of the footage used in this docuseries happens to be stolen. Any comment to that?
I think that's going to I don't know where that's going to go, right? They sent this letter before this had even come out. And so I think it's, again, trying to gain attention and trying to downplay who we all really know Diddy is. He's really trying to, in years when he gets out, trying to downplay everything and rehabilitate his reputation. So I don't think that this stolen video is going to go anywhere. And I think we're really going to have to see, who was it stolen from?
Yeah.
I don't see that gaining any traction at all.
Yeah. I said this earlier on Good Day DC, is that one thing I don't think any of us could argue, is that 50 Cent happens to be an amazing producer with regard to all of the work that he has put together. It is truly riveting if you have not seen it as yet. And so with that being said, we know you heard me make mention that the Diddy camp, they are not happy at all. What happens now? Who can they file suit against? Is it 50 Cent or is it Netflix?
Reading the letter that they sent, they are posturing to file suit against both. Obviously, here we have deep pockets everywhere, but they really want to attempt to get Netflix to pull this off the air and hold them accountable in some way. The one thing that I noticed is that they talked about non-disparagement agreements as well as confidentiality agreements that Netflix should have known about. And that's very, very interesting to me, because let's say Netflix knew about a confidentiality agreement. The confidentiality agreement is not between Netflix and Diddy, right? These agreements are likely settled lawsuits, hush money that was paid to somebody else, and these confidentiality clauses are put in to keep people quiet. It is a huge problem when we're talking about the sex abuse arena, because a lot of people don't believe that this occurs until more than one person comes forward. Well, if he's paid hush money to all of these people and they're under a confidentiality clause, they can't come forward. But is Netflix really responsible for that? I don't think so. They're not a party to that agreement.
Yeah. Hey, so maybe one day if I ever become famous, I could say, you know what, I'm going to sue you because of defamation of character. I don't want to be in that position, but I could see someone saying that. In this case, it's the Diddy camp, or perhaps those that happen to be a part of this docuseries as well. Do they have any ground to stand on?
Guy, first of all, your character is unassailable, so I am not worried about that at all. As far as other people that are involved in the docuseries, if they did not give their consent for certain things to move forward, and it really has to be, when you're talking about character assassination, it has to be not true. right? And so whoever is bringing that claim, including Diddy, whatever they're saying has to be false. And I really don't think that Netflix is going to put themselves out by putting out false statements and risking what they knew was coming.
Yeah, I got to tell you, this, yet again, it's made for a movie, but oh, by the way, it's already a movie. And so we'll end with this, Marlo. Marlo, so, I'm just a guy that just talks on TV, and so I'm not really familiar with all the legal terms and what happens next, but I'm pretty sure those at home that are watching us right now, they're saying, hey, I got it. What happens next? What will we see happen in a courtroom?
What we are going to see is the statement that came out was that they are reviewing the docuseries to determine what their next steps are. And so what they are going to do is they are going to review it with a fine-tooth comb. They're going to pick at it and determine if there is anything that they can do that has legal standing. And if they find that there is something that has legal standing, and I'll tell you, they will, whether it's accurate or not, his attorneys are going to find something that they can attack. And after that, what they will do, and they're probably already in the process of doing it, is they'll put together what's called a complaint. And it's just a long piece of paper that says, hey, you did something wrong and you need to stop. And they'll file that. My thought is that they really want to try to get this thing off the air before it truly takes off. I think they're helping it take off.
Yeah.
But they may do what's called an injunction, which just means stop that.
Yeah. It's so weird, though. I mean, let's just be real, Marlo. I mean, it's already aired. Someone has already recorded it. I bet you I can go to any, let's say, dark website and download it. I mean, it's already out there. So it's somewhat confusing. I'm somewhat perplexed as to how one could carry out a lawsuit on something that's already been released. Even if you take it back, hey, I can still watch it.
You can still watch it, but it's not publicly available. And so that's really what they want. They want to shut it down as fast as they can because 2028 really isn't very far away, and they are going to try to rehabilitate him and try to find some way to make his reputation not what it is right now. And those first steps are getting that thing off the air.
Wow. Well, if you're not a fan of Diddy and you were trying to avoid it, I thought I told you that this won't stop. In this case, it appears to continue. Marlo Greer with the Greer Law Group joining us right here on the Live Zone. It's always good to see you. Thank you so much for putting it in layman's terms so that us folks that didn't go to law school can fully understand.
Thank you.
You bet. All right, folks, we'll take a quick break. Hey, on the flip side of the break, have you seen this? Producer Joey, go ahead and pull this up. We're talking about drunk as a skunk. Joey, can you give me a little bit more about what we're talking about here?
Well, raccoons are sometimes called trash pandas, but here we have a trashed panda. That's all. That's a tease. That's your tease.
That and so much more coming up next. Saida Abbas joins us for our Wednesday Talkers right here on the Live Zone. All right, folks, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. We're following breaking news out of the National Harbor, MGM to be exact. You're taking a look from Sky Fox at the MGM, where we are getting word of a possible shooting within the food court, yet again, at the National Harbor. Details somewhat sketchy at this time. We're getting very little information, but what we can tell you is we have been contacted, and the reports are, as it currently stands, a shooting has occurred. We do not know the victim, the identity of the victim, nor the extent of the details, if you will, surrounding the injuries, if at all. And so we will continue to monitor that. I should make mention that back in May of 2024, a man was fatally shot in the parking garage of the MGM National Harbor Hotel and Casino, and police later identified a suspect. But yet again, they are still searching for that suspect. The latest with regard to this, we are getting word that a shooting has occurred inside the food court at the MGM National Harbor. When we get more information, we'll provide it to you right here on the Live Zone. We'll take a quick break and be right back. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Time for our Wednesday Talkers with Look Who Walked Into the Building. Saida Abbas joining us right here on the Live Zone. Hello, my friend.
Hi, Guy.
Good
How
to
was
see
your
you.
Thanksgiving?
It was awesome. I got a chance to say hi to Mom. I flew down to Florida.
Yeah.
Sister visited from Zurich, and my brother-in-law. It was really cool. It's just being at home and eating good food. That's what I really enjoyed.
Now you're back in the cold with us.
Yeah, I know. Bah, bah. I can tell you one thing I'm happy about. Your show on the weekend, Saida. Why don't you go ahead and tell the folks about it?
Yeah, Fox 5 Weekend Live, and it's on the Fox Local app, like this show, and it's a great way to stay informed. And we always, talk about local events, live streaming that's going on. So we covered the Gaza protests on Saturday in Arlington, and so much more. We also have amazing guests. Brittany came in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we are expanding and just, adding things, and it's exciting. It's an exciting time.
Yeah, one of the things about your show is that it is fun, just like this segment. And I'm talking about our Wednesday Talkers. I cannot wait to get your opinion on this. Have you heard of the onion method, Saida? According to the internet, this may be the answer to making your Christmas shopping a whole lot easier. So think of it the way you peel back layers of an onion. The center of the onion represents the center of your life. Now, these are the people you prioritize the most in your holiday budget. Then you work your way to the outer layer of the onion. This is for people you'd like to get something for, but maybe they are not a part of your inner circle, like your relationships. This method works by recognizing those people who happen to be closest to your heart. What say you?
I agree with that. You have to think about who's on your priority list, like the onion. So, and dad, best friends, and then acquaintances, maybe somewhere in there,
What about the outer layer of the onion, like the brown skin part that everyone just kind of like rubs away?
Yeah. I don't know. What about you? What is that?
Well,
like
that would
for you?
be, I guess, my colleagues.
Exactly. We're the brown layers.
Or some of my
Shots
associates.
fired.
So in other words, don't expect a gift from me.
No,
I'm just playing.
Same here.
I think it's really interesting. You know, if you look at it with the whole onion thing, yeah, the center of the onion is probably, that would be my mom, my dad, my siblings. You peel it back, and yeah, as you get outer and outer, it's the people probably I'm not around every day. But, you know, to combat what I said earlier, I'm surrounded by you all most every day. So not only are you my colleagues, many of you have become my friends and somewhat family.
Absolutely, yeah. Or pets. Pets could be, you know, your top priority too. Getting a gift for your cat or your dog, and then for colleagues, just well wishes.
Yeah.
Doesn't cost anything. So.
Yeah. Do you own a cat or a dog?
No, but I grew up with cats.
Okay.
My father had a cat.
All right. Yeah. We had a lot of dogs, and then for some reason we don't have any anymore. At least, well, my mom has a little dog. You know what? By the way, real quick, I don't want to go off topic here. While visiting her, the dog's name is Bichon. It's a Bichon breed.
Bichon.
She named him Bichon. She made mention of, hey, go say hi to your brother. And I'm like, who are you talking to, Mom? Meaning the dog is now my brother,
yes.
according to my mom.
He's part of the family now.
He's on the outer layer of the onion.
Now you're going to have to get him a gift.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to like that, but let's just keep it real. That's not my brother, Mom. Let's move on to this. Speaking of dogs and cats, in this case, we're talking about cats meow louder when greeting men compared to women.
Interesting.
Researchers gave house cats body cameras and found that cats meowed more often and more loudly toward their male caregivers. The scientists believe cats are more vocal because the guys don't always listen. Why am I not surprised? Forcing the cat to adjust its behavior. What do you think about this?
Is it cats that are female, or does it not specify what
Any
their
and every
gender?
cat, yeah.
Okay, that could be true because guys have a problem. They get distracted easily, and women, we're more focused. You know, if you call our name, we will listen to you. I think definitely I see that. And
oh, I'm sorry, I got
is that
distracted.
your cat calling?
No, I'm sorry. I was distracted for a second there. I get it. Look, there's so many times. Yeah, a friend of mine, he has a cat. I remember visiting both he and his wife, and I walked in, and I remember him yelling at the cat. And the cat wouldn't pay attention. However, when his wife made mention of the cat, well, the cat turned right around and vice versa. So I guess I kind of get it. The proof is in the pudding.
I know it's more of a feminine pet.
Okay.
So they respond better to females as their pet owner, I would say.
Yeah. Why am I not surprised that she's saying just
I
that?
know, cat lady over here.
Speaking of animals, oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear about this story. Producer Joey now joining us.
Well, we have an animal, but we also have a masked bandit in Virginia. You guys have seen this. A raccoon fell through the ceiling tiles and went on a rampage in an Ashland, Virginia ABC store. The raccoon broke several bottles of alcohol, helped himself to the contents, as you can see, passed out in the bathroom. He was safely escorted out. Let's hear from Chief Jeffrey Parker of the Hanover County Animal Protection and Shelter about how this went down.
My officer came in and told me I pretty much apprehended a suspect. I was like, fantastic, what happened? And it was just more or less hilarious of where he passed out in the bathroom beside the toilet.
You got drunk.
Have we all been here, or have we not all been here?
Okay, so two things real quick. First of all, this is hilarious with regard to what the chief said. The second thing, the chief's little giggle at the end of what he said, that just made me giggle, because never in a million years did I think I would see a chief giggle like that. But oh my gosh, how cool is this?
I know, but look at how it's so cute. It's like, I'm out, I'm done.
I wonder what alcohol he happened to like the most.
It seemed like liquor, right?
Is
like
that what it is?
Like
Yeah.
rum
Is that
or something.
bourbon right there? Yeah.
I don't think it's wine.
Yeah.
He's not classy.
You absolutely gotta love it. Let us know what you think. Hashtag Fox 5 Live Zone. We'd love to get your comments as well. Saida Abbas joining us with an assist by producer Joey right here on our Wednesday Talkers. Always good to see you. Can't wait to check out your show on Saturday.
Saturday and Sunday.
All right, guys. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, folks, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. We're following breaking news out of Oxon Hill, Maryland, where a shooting has been reported at the MGM National Harbor Hotel and Casino. Details are somewhat sketchy, but here's what we can tell you thus far. The Prince George's County Fire and Rescue responded to reports of that shooting just after 12 o'clock, 12:20 to be exact, yet again at the MGM. We're getting reports that the shooting did take place within the food court. Officials have not said if anyone was injured or if this was a targeted attack. No suspect information has been released at this time, and it's still unclear if anyone is in custody. I should also make mention, you may recall back in May of 2024, a man was fatally shot at the parking garage of the MGM National Harbor Hotel and Casino. Police have identified a suspect and are still actively searching for that suspect. But to bring you up to speed yet again, getting reports of a shooting taking place inside the food court at the MGM National Harbor. We'll continue to monitor this developing story throughout the afternoon right here on the Live Zone. We'll be right back. All right, folks, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Do you feel it? Yes, I'm talking about the holiday spirit. You should be filled with it. And if not, well, boy, do I have an event for you. I'm making reference to the upcoming, yes, the holiday soiree, shimmer and shine event. It's all being spearheaded by the DC Metro chapter of the 12 Days of Christmas. Did I mention it's taking place tomorrow at the Park at 14th? I bet you I got your attention now. Joining us to discuss this and so much more happens to be Midi Bardinelli. She is the national chair of the 12 Days of Christmas Incorporated and longtime member of the DC Metro chapter. Ms. Bardinelli, did I get the name correct?
You absolutely did, Guy. Good
yes.
evening, and thank you so much for joining us. Gold stars and tinsel and mistletoe for you.
All right. Yeah, I've been practicing for the last 5 minutes, so I just wanted to make sure I gave you justice. Speaking of justice, you're giving so many of those that want to feel the just cause, if you will, of giving back in a major way, and also the holiday spirit. And that's exactly what will unfold tomorrow. Do tell.
Yeah, so thank you so very much for this opportunity. And as you've already shared, I'm a proud member and past president of the DC Metro chapter of the 12 Days of Christmas, and I'm honored and blessed to serve as the national chair of this organization. We were founded, Guy, in 1999 by a phenomenal mother and daughter duo. Shout out to our amazing two women founders, Miss Gayla and Danya Gardner, out of Houston, Texas. And it was simply out of the desire to want to serve and to give back. Since that time, Guy, we have 9 national organizational chapters here in DC Metro, obviously, Philadelphia, Houston, Oakland, Loudoun County, Detroit, Chicago, Philadelphia. So we are just excited that we are able to have an opportunity to provide impact to these children right here in the DC Metro area. We have an amazing party, and as you alluded to, shout out and thank you to our partner, Mark Barnes. We're excited to go back to the park at 14th. We're also excited to have an amazing band. We all know, if you're here in the DC area, about Secret Society that will be there. So we will be taking over the entire edifice of the park. And so come on out and join us tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. for our Shimmer and Shine event. You can get tickets. Please go to our Instagram page at 12 Days DC Metro. That's number 12 Days DC Metro. You can look into the link in our bio, and we want everybody to come out because every ticket sale helps us to provide impact to these children here in the DC Metro area.
Yeah, I really want to expand on the impact portion, and that is, you're talking about gifts. And we know that Santa shows up and shows out in a major way, but sometimes Santa needs help. And in this case, that's where you all come into play. And I'm thinking about that. And I want folks that are watching right now to think about that as well. Imagine waking up Christmas morning and perhaps Santa, yes, he stopped by, but, well, he was really busy and didn't give your children enough gifts. That's where you all come into play. And it is so important that we could put smiles on so many faces.
Absolutely, Guy. We have a saying within our organization called "We are philanthropists for children" and hashtag for the kids. Everything that we do, and even myself as a mother, we understand how the holiday season really has, hopefully and prayerfully for many, sometimes we know it's a challenge, but an uplifting spirit of just family and gathering. And so I'm excited that we have these parties, not just during Christmas, but also during back to school. And what we do during the holiday season is seek to have a party with a purpose. And the purpose is we come out with like-minded individuals that are helping us to raise funds to impact children right here in DC, also in neighboring Northern Virginia, also even in Baltimore, Guy, and Prince George's County. And so what we do as philanthropists for children, we women gather together, the phenomenal dynamic hostesses of the DC Metro chapter, and we seek to raise funds. And we actually get wish lists, Guy. We don't just randomly, give gifts. We ask the children, what is it that they want? What's their favorite color? What's their favorite, toy that they would like to have? And then we endeavor and gather right after our party. We go and we actually shop specifically for what these children want. So thank you for their parents and guardians that supply that information to us. And then we then get together and we deliver these gifts to the parents and the children to make sure that they have some joy during this holiday season.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but my notes state that the DC Metro chapter, they've hosted 2 fundraisers to the tune of raising some $1 million that was then donated.
Absolutely.
That is just amazing.
Absolutely, Guy. And what I can let you know is that I've been a part of this organization for over 20 years. And nationally, on a national level, we have already raised almost every year, almost hitting $1 million a year from all the other 9 chapters. So right here in DC Metro, since our inception, we are blessed to have amazing supporters. We are blessed to have amazing people that continue to come to our parties and support. And I want to add, even if you're not able to attend, you can please still make a donation. So again, go to our Instagram page to do that because every dollar makes an impact. And we do things to specifically ensure children have joy during this holiday season. And as you said, we want to be Santa's helpers and make sure that even those, particularly in the times that we are dealing with right now, financially, the job market, etc., we are grateful to be able to step in the gap and make sure that these children have a great holiday season.
Yeah, you have really made me feel warm and fuzzy inside, and I'm pretty sure the same can be said for our viewers. We truly appreciate what you do. Folks that want to find out more information, the website one could log on to.
They can please go to 12 Days. It's a national organization. Then you just scroll down to which chapter, and you can click on our chapter for here in the DC Metro area. We also, in the age of social media, please go directly to our Instagram page where all of our event details is also listed there at 12 Days DC Metro. Again, @ 12 Days DC Metro. And please come on out to join us. Guy, we hope we can see you there as well.
By the way, Meady, we had the Grinch stop by earlier. I got to tell you, this segment, a lot better than his. I'll take this any day.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate you.
You're welcome. All right, folks, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back to the Fox 5 Live Zone. Yet again, following breaking news out of Oxon Hill, where a shooting was reported at the MGM National Harbor Hotel and Casino. According to police reports, Prince George's County Fire and Rescue responded to reports of that shooting at about 12:20 p.m. That's almost about an hour ago. We're getting reports that the shooting occurred inside the cafeteria portion, if you will, or the food court, I should say, Prince George's County Police say they are now on the scene investigating. This is Sky Fox. You're taking a live look at the MGM, obviously one of the prominent casinos and hotels based right here in this area. Producer Joey, let's go ahead and bring up what Prince George's County Police are posting with regard to their Twitter account. Detectives and officers now on the scene of the shooting at the MGM National Harbor, and they are gathering information that will be shared once confirmed. We are getting conflicting reports with regard to perhaps how many, if any, were actually shot. I can tell you we do have a reporter en route and should be able to provide you with more information as soon as possible. As you can tell, this is a fluid situation, but anytime something like this occurs, it has to be quite troubling. MGM, one of, again, the prominent hotels and casinos in this area, to my understanding, raking in the most money in the nation with regard to casinos. It is frequented by so many right here in this area, and obviously a mainstay if you've happened to have frequented it before. Yet again, police reporting that a shooting occurred. We still are not sure as to whether or not a person was wounded, injured, or anything to that extent. But yet again, police have responded, are on the scene, and hope to provide us with some additional information. As soon as we get it, we'll provide it to you right here on the Live Zone. We'll take a quick break. On the flip side of that break, Tisha Lewis, who is en route, should join us, and we'll be able to get you the very latest right here on the Live Zone. We'll be right back. Back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone, following breaking news out of Oxon Hill, where a shooting occurred within the MGM National Harbor Hotel and Casino. According to the Prince George's County Fire and Rescue, they responded to reports of gunshots a little after 12 o'clock, 12:20 to be exact, once again within the food court, to my understanding. We are now getting word that one now confirmed dead, a second person suffering from a grazed wound. Tisha Lewis now joining us with the latest reporting live from the MGM. Tisha, I'm hoping, obviously you just arrived, and I know you're still trying to gather information, but I'm hoping you can tell us and the viewers what you have learned thus far.
Yeah, I did just arrive, and there's a heavy police presence, obviously. The food court is actually closed. I want folks to see what I am seeing here inside MGM National Harbor. I'm going to flip my camera. Yeah, so the food court is closed. There are countless police cruisers. I saw the casino was open though, so you can see that. But the food court police cruisers outside, this happened in the food court area where the restaurants are, past the restaurants. You can see there's very few people right now. There's a gentleman that was basically serving as some form of security who said, did confirm about the shooting, but said that the restaurants are closed. He had no idea when they were going to be opening back up. And so that's what we know so far. But for all intents and purposes, surprisingly, it's business as usual here at MGM. The casino is open. People are coming and going. I did chat with some folks here, and they didn't seem to know why the food court was closed. They just knew that it was closed. But as you mentioned, police are on the scene. A lot of police are on the scene, especially as you're approaching MGM National Harbor. Law enforcement presence outside. If you've been to MGM, you know that there is an outdoor area. And I'm going to see if we can see the police presence from outside up here. So I'm going to flip my camera around again. This is the, I guess, balcony patio area of the MGM.
Tisha, portion that leads actually into the auditorium, if you will, if you happen to frequent shows there at the MGM. I'm quite familiar with that entry. And so real quick, Tisha, you made mention of the food court actually being closed at this time. You heard me also state that according to our news desk, one now confirmed dead. A second person actually suffered a grazed wound. Did you hear anything about that? Can you speak to that at all?
All I know is that there was a shooting here. I did ask someone who was in a security role, who was essentially guarding the restaurant area about the shooting. He confirmed that there was a shooting here. You can see some police on scene from here. If you look across, there it is. There's some police officers. And if you look further down, I'm going to walk up a little bit. You can see that there are some police up there as well. So the restaurant area is closed. We know at least one person has been shot, as you mentioned, and we believe that to be a fatal shooting. And the restaurant area is closed. The casino is open, and there are a lot of police here. That's what we know so far, Guy.
Yeah. As you walked through the area inside the MGM, if you will, you were correct. People seem to be somewhat calm, somewhat patient. Their demeanor seems to be not of one of concern. And so with that being said, it appears that police now have somewhat of a handle on what's going on. I'm curious, Tisha, also, any word as to what sparked the gunfire? It happened to be an argument, words exchanged of any sort?
Yeah, we don't know that. As I mentioned, we just arrived moments ago. And so we're scoping out the scene to see exactly what has happened here. Just a lot of police officers, a very active scene. And it's a Wednesday afternoon at MGM National Harbor, and people are coming and going. It seems that the area where this happened has at least been sectioned off or cordoned off so folks can't venture back there. So they likely may not know what exactly is happening.
Once you were inside, I noticed you were walking down the hallway, if you will. I'm very familiar with that food court, and there are restaurants prior to arriving to the actual food court in its entirety. To your understanding and what you were able to, your vantage point, is that what you saw? Is that the area that happens to be blocked off, the food court itself, or perhaps?
Yes, it looks like those restaurants are closed as well. Yes, it looks like they're closed as well. The restaurants leading to the food court and the food court. Now, a lot of these restaurants open a little bit later, though, as well. So, but it looks like the food court definitely is closed, along with the restaurants leading to the food court.
Yeah. Tisha, I hate to put you on the spot. Obviously, it's a fluid situation, and I notice a number of folks are walking by. Would you mind asking someone that happens to be walking by if they, what they've heard, their current stance, how they feel, knowing that, well, according to our reports, one person now confirmed dead, a second now suffering a grazed wound after a shooting took place at the food court at the National Harbor. Perhaps we lost her. I know the signal is somewhat.
Yeah, let's.
Tisha, we have you.
Let me see. You have me back. Okay. Let me see. Again, this is an area that's closed off, so there's not, as you can see, there's not a lot of foot traffic, but we will see if we see anyone.
Yeah.
We do see some people. Here we go. Let's see if they. Hi, ladies. How are you? Hi. You're live on Fox 5. Did you guys hear about there was a shooting incident at the food court?
Yes, ma'am.
That way. That's why it's closed. They told you it was closed. Someone was fatally shot at the food court. Yes.
With a shot?
What did they tell you? What did you see?
They say they told them go.
Now that you hear that someone was shot, what concerns do you have about your safety? Do you have any concerns about your safety?
Yes, do it. We do this.
What concerns do you have?
Sure. We just scared.
Scared.
Yeah.
Be safe. Thank you. So you see, Guy, these ladies did walk down there and probably tried to go to a restaurant that was in the food court, and they were turned away, as was I, and they have some concerns about their safety.
Yeah. Tisha, I got to tell you, it was very interesting they were somewhat astonished, surprised to hear that someone actually lost their life within the food court and yet again another person wounded. From yet again your vantage point and with regard to the information that's being disseminated, do you feel as though that the MGM and the folks there are really making sure that folks know what's going on? Is it something that they're sweeping under the rug? While this young lady is walking by.
Hi there. Yeah, I want to ask you, did you hear about a shooting that took place here?
It was on the news, but I don't know anything else about it.
Did you see police?
No, I mean, I just heard it on the news, not just got here.
What concerns do you have, if any, being here and this happened?
I mean, it's America.
Interesting take with regard to yet again a shooting.
And hi, Miss, how are you? You're live on Fox 5. I'm with Fox 5. Did you hear about the shooting that happened here? Did you see any police? What concerns, if any, do you have about your safety? She said she's leaving, so she doesn't have any concerns about her safety because she's leaving. So, that's kind of the sentiment that we've seen since we arrived. People don't seem to know much about it aside what they're seeing online on Fox 5, on Fox Local. Folks don't know much about it from the folks here on the ground.
Yeah.
Again, it appears it's business as usual. You can see people going in the casino. We'll see if my phone maintains its signal. There wasn't really much of a presence of law enforcement.
I think that's key, Tisha. Yet again, great work as you continue to make your way through the hallways. Tisha, here's what we'll do real quick, because I think you're somewhat losing your signal. Let's reset. I want to alert folks with regard to what has taken place this far. Producer Joey, go ahead and continue to monitor Tisha and let me know when she's set up at a vantage point that we can go back to her. But yet again, we got a report of a shooting taking place inside the MGM National Harbor, the food court to be exact. Prince George's County Fire and Rescue responded to that shooting, that 911 call, at about 12:20 p.m. this afternoon. We can tell you, according to officials, one now confirmed dead, another suffering from a grazed wound. It's still no word as to whether or not the culprit has been apprehended, and that's something we should find out sometime in the near future. Tisha Lewis, yet again, inside the MGM National Harbor. She has been making her way throughout the harbor for the last 15 minutes or so, trying to gather additional information. As you would expect within the harbor, the signal is somewhat dicey, and so the vantage point I could see, she's now making her way to let's go ahead and pull that up, Joey. She's now making her way to the parking garage, where yet again, perhaps we will see a police presence. Tisha, do you have me?
Yes, I do. And so we are here at, now we're in the parking garage, and I'm going to pop out on this side to see what the police presence. Hi, Miss, how are you? We'll talk to folks as we go out. Did you hear that there was a shooting?
Yes, it's in the food court. It's in the food court.
Do you know what happened? Okay, you're live on Fox 5. What concerns do you have about your safety? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
obviously, some folks are reluctant to discuss it. I mean, it's a fluid situation, Tisha, and I could fully understand as to some that do not completely understand and/or know what occurred to speak on it as yet.
Right. So I'm almost outside, and I think once I make it to the street here, that you will see the police presence that I was referencing a little bit earlier. It's quite the police presence.
Tisha,
Understandably.
I have to be honest with you. I mean, what we've seen thus far, I would have expected to have seen more of a lockdown. Yet again, people are carrying on as if nothing occurred, and well, it's just business as usual. Something you pointed out earlier within your report.
Correct. Yeah, it's, I was actually very surprised that the garages were open. The casino is more this way. So you can see the flashing lights.
Yeah.
And we're walking a little bit closer. And you can see a pretty significant police presence flashing.
I should make mention yet again, I'm somewhat familiar with that venue. Let's go and bring that up again,
Obviously,
Joy.
there's investigators down this road here. Great. So, as I was driving down, there were a lot of police cars speeding by. You can see several police cars parked here.
I have to apologize, and I know you have been quite busy and walking around, and we truly appreciate it, giving us a vantage point perhaps we would not have seen without you. But I just want to bring you up to speed. We're just getting word that we will now have a presser, if you will. The Prince George's County Police Department plans to hold a presser in parking lot B, to my understanding. Is that correct? B as in Bob. And so with that being said,
okay.
B as in Bob. And so with that being said, Tisha, perhaps you should begin to make your way to parking lot B. Yet again,
Okay,
where you
that
can
sounds good.
at the very latest.
We will.
I'll let you go, and when you
will
get it
head
set
to
up there,
parking lot.
please check back in. Yet again, our very own Tisha Lewis reporting live from the MGM National Harbor, where if you're just joining us, we have confirmed that one person now dead, another one suffering from a gunshot wound. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back to the Fox 5 Live Zone. It is now 1:30, 30 minutes past the top of the hour. We are following yet again breaking news out of Oxon Hill, where a shooting was reported at the MGM National Harbor Hotel and Casino. According to the Prince George's County Fire and Rescue, they responded to reports of gunfire at 12:20 this afternoon. Since that time, we can now confirm that one person has died, another person apparently wounded, a graze wound at that. Let's go ahead and take, is this 703, Joey? Is this what we see right here? Is this the press conference that's about to get underway?
It doesn't look.
Okay, so obviously, folks, it's a fluid situation, so we're following. We have multiple screens up. Let's go ahead and pull that up as we can await for a presser to get underway. And so any minute now, we are expecting Prince George's County Police to give us the very latest with regard to what took place inside the MGM National Harbor. It's to our understanding the shooting occurred within the food court of the casino. Our very own Tisha Lewis happens to be on the scene, and she has been walking around talking to those who frequent MGM. Just a minute ago, she got a chance to speak with these two women. Let's hear what they had to say.
There was a shooting incident at the food court?
Yes, ma'am.
That way, that's why it's closed. They told you it was closed. Someone was fatally shot at the food court. Yes.
But the shot before that,
What did they tell you? What did you see?
they say they told them go.
Now that you hear that someone was shot, what concerns do you have about your safety? Do you have any concerns about your safety?
Yes, do it. We do this.
What concerns do you have?
Sure. We just scared. Scared.
Scared.
Yeah.
Be safe. Thank you. So you see, Guy, these ladies did walk down there and probably tried to go to a restaurant that was in the food court, and they were turned away, as was I, and they have some concerns about their safety.
Yeah, Tisha, I got to tell you, it was very interesting they were somewhat astonished, surprised to hear that someone actually lost their life within the food court and yet again another person wounded. From yet again your vantage point and with regard to the information that's being disseminated, do you feel as though that the MGM and the folks there are really making sure that folks know what's going on? Is it something that they're sweeping under the rug? While this young lady is walking by,
Hi there. Yeah, I want to ask you, did you hear about a shooting that took place here?
It was on the news, but I don't know anything else about it.
Did you see police? Did you?
No, I mean, I just heard it on the news, not just Guy here.
What concerns do you have, if any, being here and this happened?
I mean, it's a miracle.
Interesting take with regard to yet again a shooting.
And hi, Miss, how are you? You're live on Fox 5. I'm with Fox 5. Did you hear about the shooting that happened here? Did you see any police? What concerns, if any, do you have about your safety? She said she's leaving, so she doesn't have any concerns about her safety because she's leaving. So, that's kind of the sentiment that we've seen since we arrived. People don't seem to know much about it aside what they're seeing online on Fox 5, on Fox Local. Folks don't know much about it from the folks here on the ground.
Yeah.
Again, it appears it's business as usual. You can see people going in the casino. We'll see if my phone maintains its signal. There wasn't really much of a presence of law enforcement.
I think that's key, Tisha. Yet again, great work as you continue to make your way through the hallways. Tisha, here's what we'll do real quick, because I think you're somewhat losing your signal. Let's reset. I want to alert folks with regard to what has taken place this far. Producer Joey, go ahead and continue to monitor Tisha and let me know when she's set up at a vantage point that we can go back to her. But yet again, we got a report of a shooting taking place inside the MGM National Harbor, the food court to be exact. Prince George's County Fire and Rescue responded to that shooting, that 911 call, at about 12:20 p.m. this afternoon. We can tell you, according to officials, one now confirmed dead, another suffering from a grazed wound. It's still no word as to whether or not the culprit has been apprehended, and that's something we should find out sometime in the near future. Our Tisha Lewis yet again inside the MGM National Harbor. She has been making her way throughout the harbor for the last 15 minutes or so, trying to gather additional information. As you would expect within the harbor, the signal is somewhat dicey, and so the vantage point I could see, she's now making her way to the. Let's go ahead and pull that up, Joey. She's now making her way to the parking garage, where yet again perhaps we will see a police presence. Tisha, do you have me?
Yes, I do. And so we are here at, now we're in the parking garage. And I'm going to pop out on this side to see what the police presence. Hi, Miss, how are you? We'll talk to folks as we go out. Did you hear that there was a shooting?
Yes, it's in the food court. It's in the food court.
Do you know what happened? Okay, you're live on Fox 5. What concerns do you have about your safety? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
obviously some folks are reluctant to discuss it. I mean, it's a fluid situation, Tisha, and I could fully understand as to some that do not completely understand and or know what occurred to speak on it as yet.
Right, so I'm almost outside, and I think once I make it to the street here, that you will see the police presence that I.
Yet again, our very own Tisha Lewis reporting earlier. Let's take it live now to the presser that apparently is getting underway with regard to a Prince George's County police official speaking up. No, not yet. So obviously, yet again, this is a fluid situation. I can tell you that a number of reporters are en route to the MGM National Harbor, where we have confirmed at least one person dead, another suffering from a graze wound after gunfire rang out inside the MGM National Harbor. Let's go ahead and take a live look in and see if we can hear anything, Joey.
Anybody got anything? That big old white van in the back. Laser focus, my bad, y'all. All right, we good. That's right. White balance, you're good.
So I can tell you right now, they are adjusting the camera. That's why they focused on that white van there. And so yet again, police officials about to provide us with the latest information surrounding a shooting that occurred within the MGM National Harbor.
I'm Brian Fisher, manager of the Media Relations Division for the Prince George's County Police Department. As you know, everything here is very preliminary and the investigation is proceeding. Speaking to you now is going to be our chief, George Nader.
Good afternoon. What information that we have is preliminary and subject to change, and I know you guys are going to have a lot of questions that we're not going to be able to answer because it's an ongoing investigation and it's very active, and we know you have information that you've heard over our radios, but what we're asking is that you keep that to yourselves right now out of respect for the victim's family, but also out of the integrity for the investigation. So with that, I'll go ahead and start. I'm Chief George Nader with the Prince George's County Police Department. Shortly before 12 noon, we got a call for a shooting at the MGM Casino and Resort in the food court. As officers responded, they located one victim in the food court. That victim is deceased. That victim is an adult male, we believe in the 20s. We do know that this was a targeted shooting based on our investigation at this point. It wasn't random, and this person did not happen upon this person. It appeared that they were looking for this person, chased them down, and the shooting occurred right there in the food court. We have no other people that are reported being injured. Right now, the only portion of the MGM that is affected is the food court. The rest of the MGM is open and active. We have not had crimes like this at the National Harbor, and crime in MGM and National Harbor is down approximately 32% for violent crime this year. So it's rare that instances like this occur. We're confident that we'll close this case. And with that, I'll take one or two questions, but there's not really a lot more information that I can give you.
Who are you searching for right now?
We're searching for a suspect that we have on video.
What's the description for the suspect?
We're not giving that out just yet, but if we have problems locating him, then we'll give that information.
Did he follow him from the garage, or like how far back did you track him?
The victim was in the food court. The suspect came into the food court and seemed like he knew where the victim was, and then went that way. We did, out of precautionary measure, lock down some of the local schools just till we got a handle on that the gunman was not on foot in the community, which he is not. So there's no active threat to the community, but we are actively searching for the suspect.
Chief, what did you see on the cameras? What was this? Was there an exchange? Anything at all?
So I did not actually watch the cameras, but from what I was told, there was no exchange. The victim was ordering food. The suspect appeared and immediately began shooting at the victim.
Had they been there a while, on foot, or was he driven away?
We're still looking at video, but we do believe he fled the scene in the car.
Did the victim also have a weapon?
We're still determining that.
Had they been there a while, though, or were they just kind of new arrivals?
Well, I don't know how long the victim was there. We do know the suspect was in the parking lot area for a few minutes prior to going into the food court.
What can you tell us about the decision to keep the casino open, to keep MGM open? For all intents and purposes, there's not a heavy police presence inside MGM.
So for us, the decision to keep MGM open, MGM is such a big area that the only crime scene that we're looking at right now is in the food court. So for us, as a police department, there's no need for us to close anything else. Everything that we need to gather is in that food court. So we're satisfied with just closing down that area.
So every each of that place is on camera. How much does it help your investigation with their cameras?
The cameras are absolutely helpful. So any business or community, when they have a crime on camera, it not only helps us expedite the investigation, but it also helps us in the prosecution of the case and holding people accountable. And
so you can track every second of the movement of these people in here, correct?
Primarily, we believe that, yes.
Any word on a motive, sir? What there may have been some kind of beef between these two individuals?
Nothing yet. Like we said, there was nothing that occurred inside MGM where these two individuals encountered one another until the shooting occurred. And I'll take one more question.
Was the victim in the casino beforehand?
That we don't know. Still under review.
Was someone grazed by a bullet?
Grazed otherwise?
Yes, we can confirm that.
Someone was grazed.
No, we can confirm that no one else was injured.
And the victim by himself, herself?
Yes. Male.
What can you tell us about the security in place in the food court area?
That you would have to probably ask MGM what security is in place. Prince George's County Police. We do patrol MGM, parking lot, casino, food court area, like we patrol everywhere else within Prince George's
A
County.
message to the community. Some people say they're seeing more young people show up here at the casino. Concerned now.
We haven't seen more young people show up at the casino, but MGM is safe. The harbor is safe. This was a targeted incident. We believe that it would have folded out anywhere once these two individuals came into the same area. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, there you have it. Yet again, Chief George Nader discussing what took place at the MGM National Harbor. According to Chief Nader, it is still an active investigation, but shortly before 12 noon, an assailant walked into the National Harbor, the food court to be exact, where he or she opened fire on a male victim said to be within his 20s. According to Chief Nader, this appears to be a targeted shooting and that they are still looking for the person. The victim that is deceased, still no identification as yet, pending family notification. They are searching for a suspect. The chief did mention that several schools within the area were immediately placed on lockdown as they looked for the culprit and or assailant. However, that is no longer the case with regard to the lockdown of the schools. The chief also stating that in this day and age, apparently there happen to be a lot of cameras, and they now plan to use those cameras to help locate actually the position as to where the assailant fled and as to how close that assailant is to the MGM at this possible time. We can also tell you that according to the chief, no one was injured, I should say, following the shooting of the one male victim that is now deceased. Early reports stated that there happened to be one deceased male and someone that was suffering from a gunshot wound. That is incorrect, and as we now know it, only one person was shot and has now been confirmed deceased. We'll continue to follow this developing story throughout the afternoon, right here on Fox 5. This is The Live Zone. We'll be right back. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Yet again, we have been following this developing story all afternoon out of the MGM National Harbor, where police just wrapping up a presser stating that one person now confirmed dead following a shooting inside the MGM National Harbor, the food court portion, if you will. The assailant, the culprit, still remains at large. Police now actively searching for that person. We can tell you that schools were placed on lockdown as they searched for the assailant. However, that's no longer the case. Police also looking to use cameras to locate the victim. And we can tell you that as it currently stands, according to police, no one else was injured during the melee that unfolded inside the food court at the National Harbor. Our very own Tisha Lewis will have a report at the top of the hour at 2 o'clock. On the take right here on Fox 5. We'll go from Maryland to Georgia, where police there now discussing a major meth bust. The FBI, to be exact. It's the feds that got involved. This is one of the biggest busts that we have seen thus far. Police commenting on just that. Let's take a live look in.
Whether these drugs have been tested for fentanyl yet. Remember, this is a very recent seizure, and it's an enormous amount of drugs that we have here. But it should be assumed that fentanyl is in all drugs that are confiscated. We're seeing fentanyl in methamphetamine, we're seeing fentanyl in cocaine, we're seeing fentanyl in heroin. It's everywhere. But fentanyl is not the only threat. Methamphetamine remains a very significant threat in our community. Methamphetamine has destroyed families, it's ruined lives, people have overdosed and die, and it happens every day. And so we're not focused on one particular drug. Fentanyl is a scourge, methamphetamine is a scourge, heroin is a scourge. Prescription drugs that are abused is a scourge, and we are going after all of it. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
All right, there you have it. The feds yet again detailing a major meth bust taking place in the state of Georgia, Atlanta to be exact, said to be one of the largest in the nation's history. We'll take a quick break. On the flip side of that break, your latest forecast coming up next, right here on the Live Zone. Shall we? Tucker Barnes now joining us. Hello, sir.
Yes, happy middle of the week.
Yes, it's what, Wednesday?
Yeah, I said middle of the week because I wasn't sure what day of the week it was either.
Okay.
Yeah, so
kind of all flies by.
It's all good.
Yeah, real good.
Yeah, all good.
How you doing today?
We done?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
You probably want weather from me, right?
Just a little.
Okay, sunshine has returned, and it's a beautiful day. It is a cool day. It was a cold morning. Overnight lows are back generally in the 20s and low 30s, and the cold pattern continues here, so we'll start there with daytime highs this afternoon in the mid-40s. We're 39 degrees with the winds out of the north here at 14, so the feels like the wind chill at 31.
Gosh, yeah, it was
put your
freezing
jacket
out
on.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, put your jacket on. And it's nice. It feels like the holidays when you see the Christmas lights and the holiday lights, and you're driving down the road, and it's nice when it's not 85 degrees, right?
I'm just missing snow.
Well, maybe we can talk about that.
Okay.
Nice afternoon for us this afternoon. We'll be, again, on the cool side, but you're in good shape. No rain and or snow today, or tonight, or tomorrow, for that matter. We'll keep it both Wednesday and Thursday dry. Friday gets a little more interesting, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. If you look all the way out towards Denver, you see a little puff of white. A little bit of snow out there. We're going to have a cold front come through here Thursday night. That'll come through dry. You won't notice. I will, but you won't. But what it'll do is reinforce cold air. So we've got a lot of cold air in place on Friday morning. We're going to have a weak area of low pressure pass to our south on Friday morning. And some of the modeling, and I'm showing you one of our more bullish models as far as snow chances, but it's one of our better models, the European. I've always been in European models. I know you have too, Guy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely love it.
Yeah, I know you have. It is suggesting that perhaps the precipitation shield will get far enough north on Friday. We get some snow around here for the daytime hours. That's 9:30. That's 12 noon with snow across the area. I can't guarantee this is the final solution because some of the modeling keeps the snow just a little south of us.
Yeah.
But if this were to verify, it would be cold enough, you can see for yourself, that we are looking at a snow day on Friday. A light snow day. Let me really emphasize light. So what would the upside potential be? This would be the upside potential, maybe 2 inches.
Oh, wow.
So it would be cold enough. It would probably stick, and in some cases, in many cases locally, it would be our first snowflakes of the season and our first accumulating snow. That's the European model's output, trying to give the region between about 1 and maybe, if you're far enough to the south, 2 inches of snow. Again, not a major snow, but with temperatures only in the 30s, that is a time frame we really want to watch. That, again, would be Friday. Let's call it 10, 11 o'clock in the morning through about 6 at night.
All right.
Otherwise, weekend looks good. A couple snow showers next week.
Fingers crossed. I want snow.
I mean, listen, I'm sure there wouldn't be too many people that would complain about a 3-day weekend if that happened.
Unfortunately, you and I have to still come to work.
Oh, no, I was talking about myself. I'm not.
Tucker Barnes, all things weather, right here on the Live Zone. Guys, if you haven't already done so, make sure you download the Fox Local app. You can take that forecast with you on the go. And yet again, we continue to follow the developing story out of Oxon Hill, where one person now confirmed dead following a shooting inside the MGM National Harbor Casino, the food court portion to be exact. According to Chief George Nader, the investigation is still active, the assailant still at large. We'll get a report from our very own Tisha Lewis coming up at 2 o'clock on The Take. On behalf of my producer, Joey, I'm Guy Lambert. We truly appreciate you watching. 12 to 2 each and every day. We call it the Fox 5 Live Zone. The Take coming up next, right here on Fox 5.